Hi, guys, and welcome to this episode of the Just My Opinion podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about Francis Ngannou bagging this awesome deal. I like the caption which he put. I think this is a Jay-Z quote where he says, I am not a businessman, I'm a businessman. So I love that.
And
Yeah, I love that quote. So, hi, Ambassador.
hello, people. It's your boy Ambassador again doing his thing.
Yeah, so this is a very exciting one. A few days ago, we are talking about how people were coming at Francis for not accepting the deal which he was given because he felt like he wanted to have more leadership roles so he could make more changes for other fighters. So people were saying like he has passed his prime, he will never get another good deal like that, and all those kind of things. And Francis Ngannou had this, he just shared words on Twitter saying like, they should calm down and have faith, like trust the process.
You
So
send them to church.
yeah, exactly. So next them Empire shared this announcement. Big announcement, Ngannou signs for Professional Fighter League PFL. After months of uncertainty and offer denials, Ngannou has gotten what he desired, signing for the Professional Fighter League with leadership roles. Ngannou will fight exclusively for PFL in its pay-per-view super fight division and serve as chairman and equity owner in PFL Africa. Ngannou will also have a role on the PFL advisory board to represent the athletes' interests. He told New York Times, let's just say all in my deal with PFL is more than anyone else offered. Okay, the past few months have been a very interesting time to understand and see the landscape, but I'm very excited about this deal with the PFL because they basically showed what I was expecting. They didn't just show up as a promotion that was looking for a fighter, but really came as a partner that sees more value in you as a person. PFL CEO Peter Murray told the Times, this is not an athlete deal. Francis is an icon today in the sport. He is the best in the world at what he does, but he is in business with the PFL. We are in business together. The promotions deal with Ngannou gives him the right to pursue a long-time dream of professional boxing. The Predator has tried to book a fight with Tyson Fury this summer and has been linked to fights with ex-champs Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. So that was the article from the blog. Then we have this lady Faith Tata saying Francis Ngannou just taught me 5 life lessons. Believe in yourself even when no one else does. Work extremely hard despite how talented you think you are. Know your value and stick to your principles. Be patient with life and business decisions. Always stay humble. Congratulations to the Predator on this juicy new MMA deal with PFL MMA Live. Just take a look at the highlighted items. Okay, so we have this pictures of Ngannou, most expansive and valuable signing in MMA history. Yeah, chairman of PFL Africa. That's him shaking hands. So this is the post which he actually shared. Say, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. So yeah. So, Ambassador, what do you
Gotta handle
think?
my business. Yeah, okay. First thing is just, I don't know if it's some comedy relief. When Fit Tata calls it a juicy deal, I don't know. Is she talking about the money? Is that what girls refer to as juicy nowadays? I don't know why she said it's juicy, but anyway, it just caught my eye like, what's juicy about this? Is it because there's much money in it?
Yeah.
Uh, Now, I think we spoke about this. People wanting to have a seat on the table.
Mm.
Francis Ngannou, to be specific, well deserved. We also mentioned the fact that it should be a lesson to other African trailblazers, Joel Embiid in basketball, Siakam in basketball, Samuel Eto'o in football, and all the others behind him. Some in acting, Stanley Eno and Jovi in music locally, Richard Bona and the others in music internationally. At a certain level, when you have made money or have money, you should start thinking of impact, influence. I think that's what he's going for. Look at the deal. he's going to be representing them Africa-wise. That even means when he retires, he already has a job. Some of the boxing things he wanted to do, which I think he was restricted at the time, he's open to those things now. He has, I think, some more marketing right. So I watched one interview where he was saying that the fighters could not have any personal endorsements because the UFC has already signed endorsement deals. So the fighters only can represent the people who the UFC has signed when it comes in the ring. So it's not like Jordan has gone and signed with Nike and his Jordan shoes, and he brings the Jordan shoes into the basketball court. It almost looks like everybody has to wear what UFC has signed up with. So those are some restricting and, let's say, constraining terms which were in the initial deal. As I said, it's a good step because when he first got there in 2015, I did not expect him to negotiate the best deal. I even feel like, yeah, how many years down the line, he's now signing such a good deal, which for me is a good offer. I also like the lessons which Faith Tata drew from them, which is the most important thing. I don't think he's going to be sharing some of this money with all Cameroonians, but at least these lessons can be shared with all Cameroonians and it can point us in the right direction. So the lessons are what hit me the most. Believe in yourself, work extremely hard, know your value, know your value. I think most of the time we don't know our value. That's why, because we don't know our value, we get discouraged, we don't work hard, we don't believe in ourselves, we are not patient enough. But I remember always telling people like, somebody treats me shabbily, one, it motivates me to work harder so that I can get to the vision which I think I can be soon enough. But also, I pity them. I'm like, if this guy only knew what I'm going to become, he's not going to treat me like this because he's going to be sorry for it down the line. That's usually my feeling when people treat me in a kind of way due to the position which I present myself at a particular time. So I think when you believe in yourself, it's a very good starting point. There's that confidence which at times people don't understand, but I think it's something just instilled in me at a very young age, which I just know who I am. I carry myself in a certain way. Some people mistake it for pride, some people mistake it for arrogance. But there's a difference in some of those things here. As long as I'm not trying to step over you or feel like I'm better than you, but I just feel like I'm good enough for me, I don't think there's any negative touch to that kind of pride or that kind of confidence. So for me, I feel like Ngannou knew who he was. And I don't know yet, but I really feel like he has some good people around him. One, he's so humble. Two, he's like some other famous people would have been ranting online, insulting the UFC guys, talking about discussions that happen behind the scene, sharing screenshots, sharing voice notes to prove a point. He was always very calm, just like, relax, it's okay. Even when people shared things online which looked like it was negative press towards him, he was still just calm. So like he has a level head, he has very good people around him, and even the business minds. I don't think he's that educated, but he's just smart. So he knows who to listen to, and then he knows to stick on something which he thinks this makes sense. Plus, he's a Bache guy, this is a Bamileke guy. So for those around Africa, in Cameroon, we say Bamileke people are the Jews of Cameroon. So when it comes to business and money, school or no school, a Bamileke guy can give you a philosophy thesis around money. So I think he knows what he's trying to look at and the kind of things he wants on the table. He might not even know the magnitude of it, but some of these things he has signed. I think even like I remember I was watching a documentary about Jordan and the shoe thing. I think Jordan did not even have 1/100 of a clue of what the Jordan brand will become. But he just felt like ownership is the right thing to do. With the support of his mother, he signed that deal and he gave him billions down the line. So I feel like Ghana does not even know the value of what this means. He's willing to take a bet on himself, and down the line, everybody is going to be wowed at some of the terms and conditions he put in place for himself and other fighters, and especially for Africans. You see him, they say he's going to be a representative. So he's not an employee, he's a partner, and he's going to be representing them at an African level. So when it's all said and done, surely he's going to start introducing rather than other fighters down the line, like having the same experience of walking across the desert, struggling in France, and crossing. Maybe we could build local talent, make them strong enough, and then they represent directly as African talent. Well, incubators that can really give them a best shot at their art or their craft. So I think he's really looking long term, and it's something which should be applauded. And but plus I'll still hit on that. Africans should take lessons from this. You must not be a fighter, a celebrity. Lots of these things, even our everyday things like your office, you prioritize just the salary, the money. You're not looking at long term as to how can I really impact the lives of people that walk into this office door. How can I make sure that 10 years from now they'll say there was this man who was in this office who was such a kind man. People in our society don't take ownership. They don't feel like their everyday actions affect the society and has a long-term impact. So at times I just sit in traffic and I'm like, can someone quantify the amount of money which our economy loses from this traffic? Down the line, you want to just go and realize that it's one policeman fighting with a taxi driver over 1,000 francs, and the economy is losing. I'm just giving a random number, maybe 10 million an hour from this traffic which everybody is stuck here. But nobody has quantified those things, and the policeman does not try. For him, the value of that fight is that 1.5. But I think if anybody could show him the value of what is making the economy lose, some of these pictures need to be painted so people like, same thing with our actions, same thing with, let's say, bad choices we make, maybe somebody refusing to register a business for someone who that business will down the line employ your 5 children from the university and all of those things. Nobody's painting that bigger picture. Everybody's just looking at, I need 10,000 francs right now in this office because I want to go and drink beer with my friends this afternoon. When I've drank that beer, I go and sleep, the story has ended. That's why I'm not going to sign this business registration document. If they paint the bigger picture of this business is going to employ your 5 children, it's going to maybe give social contributions to the schools which your grandchildren will go to. All of these bigger pictures will make people rethink some of their choices. So I think it's a very good example he's showing to the African youth, and it should be applauded.
Yeah, so before I talk about this lessons learned from the Francis Ngannou thing, because like when I saw this, I was like, so many lessons to learn. And when I saw those 5 lessons, I was like, yeah, definitely she got it right. If I just, when you were talking, I remembered this video that I was watching of Jordan Peterson, where he was saying he was talking to some group of youths, and he asked them, how many hours do you waste a day? And they're like, 4 hours. Some said 8, some said 5. And then he was like, for them, it's just like, oh, I lose 4 hours a day, I lose 5 hours a day. So he said he loves doing the math. So he would tell them, okay, let's calculate 4 times 30. You do the calculation. Then you get the amount times 365 days. Times 12
That's
months.
12.
And you realize that you're losing 80 plus 100 plus hours in a year, and you're like, then he asked them, how much is your 1 hour worth? Some of them said $20, some of them said $40. So then multiply those hours times your hourly worth, and you realize that you're losing 100 plus thousand, 50,000 in a year, and you're like, you wonder why you're broke when you're losing this amount of money in a year. So like definitely when you sit and do the maths, and you realize that yeah, the losses are really a lot. Like you can lose 1 hour in a day and like nothing, but if you multiply that 1 hour times the number of days in a year, then you realize that it's really a lot. So I want to talk about these 5 lessons. So number 1, she says, believe in yourself even when no one else does. And we saw this was a classic example. People came at Francis Ngannou. People were saying he's past his prime. He will never get a deal like that. He is having a big head. blah blah blah. They're better. A lot of people came at him. He stayed calm and he was like, guys, have faith. Then work extremely hard despite how talented you think you are. One of our previous videos we said like hard work will always be talent. If you have talent and you're not hardworking, the hardworking person would always beat you. So Francis Ngannou has the talent and he's also hardworking. Know your value and stick to your principles. He The fight that he's going on now is not just a fight for himself. It's not just a fight for a selfish fight. It's a fight for I want to be in a position where I can be of influence. I can positively impact other fighters coming after me. He has the values of okay, I want us to team up. I want us to work together to make things better for us, and he's stuck by it. Be patient with life and business decisions. Definitely, it took a lot of patience to turn down the $20 million that people were buzzing about. Like 20 million, like people were saying, like, do you know what 20 million will do for me and all those kind of things. Yeah, always stay humble. Like the ambassador mentioned, like there is this humility about Francis Ngannou. And one thing we should mention in the video we did about him turning down the $20 million deal is the fact that I've forgotten what I had to say. Yeah, but anyway, so I was just talking about his humility, and you can see him in places, in different corners, being very humble, eating street food, and all of those things. And oh, yeah, so this is what I'm to say. Like, we spoke about his journey, and I feel like all these characteristics were because of the journey he took, and he did not just take the journey and didn't make use of the experiences that he could learn. Like he took the journey and he made very good use of that journey, because like what people always say, like it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey that matters. So he took a journey and it was a very hard road to get to where he was, and he let that journey mold his character, mold the person who he is today. When he was fighting, he did not have good facilities, or a lot of things did not favor the fighters, and now he's like, okay, because I had this challenge, I don't want other fighters to face this challenge, and I'm going to put this as a fight. So yeah, so there are a lot of reasons. I mean, I don't think it's just 10 things which you can learn from this Francis Ngannou's deal, but there are a lot of things. So yeah, let's proceed to talk about our sponsors.
So as usual, Ambassador is here to talk about the money. We have Echo Online, which usually we talk about African things, and Francis Ngannou is trying to put his own contribution forward towards the African scene. It might be in fighting, but I think Echo Online is here to monetize and democratize the entertainment scene, which is a very good thing, and it could change lots of lives, especially the artists. What do we mean by monetize and democratize? One, you could have access to your fan base. You could build a solid fan base organically. Simple. Just create a profile on Echo Online, share it on your social media handles, and get your followers to come and follow you on Echo Online. When that is done, as soon as you put out the project, you can get your fans to buy your project directly. Unlike in other cases where artists put out their songs on Tidal, iTunes, their core fan base in Africa, they are not on Tidal and iTunes. And even when they go on those sites, they cannot buy because they don't have credit cards and all the other payment methods. But with Echo Online, which is adapted to all the African payment methods, your fans can actually buy your music. That's to support you. And hence you can grow organically, because you can get that money from your fan base, reinvest it, get a bigger fan base, reinvest it, get a bigger fan, and that's how the circle gets bigger. Now, you could also cash out your money directly using your mobile money account. So as we said, the power is in your hand. And all of these things using your phone. Share with your fan base, build your fan base, upload your songs, cash out your money. All of these transactions can be done just your phone in your hand. So a typical African artist who is not signed up to a label, that's you handling your distro, handling your business, handling some of your, should I call it, your community building things, all of those things with your phone in your hand. So I just tell people, the site is under construction. There are lots of new features coming up every day, and it's going to be some interesting few months down the line. But the first users are going to get the most. I always use the example of YouTube. Those who first jumped on YouTube became millionaires because YouTube gave them the best customer service. They got the best endorsement deals before the place became crowded with lots of other YouTubers. So Get on Echo Online, create your profile, get in touch with the customer service or the management team. If you have any challenges, get to Chakra TV, we could put you in contact with them so that they could also adjust certain things to suit your local reality. When that's all said and done, the important thing is for you to build your fan base and then try to monetize your art from this fan base. Come and share your success story with us on Chakara TV. Down the line, we are going to be sharing top 10s from Echo Online, success story on Echo Online, because the whole idea is to build our entertainment ecosystem, music to be specific. So get on Echo Online and start the experience and share with us.
Right, guys, jump on it. It's definitely an opportunity for upcoming artists and for even established artists to build a local fan base. So definitely go for it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Before we go, Ambassador, any other thing you want to add about this Francis Ngannou new deal that he just signed?
No, not much. I think I've said most of it because we have spoken about him like twice in the last few days. But I just think it's one of those stories which I look at. It looks very close, right? I know lots of guys who went through that journey through the desert and all of that and did not make much of it. But this is someone who was disciplined and made so much. Also, for someone who is that strong, I've never heard any scandal about him trying to prove his strength, use his strength to intimidate anybody. I mean, this guy is but 100. His punch, the weight of his punch is 129,000 newtons. So it's something which he should feel some level of arrogance. Like, why are you talking to me? Do you know that I can? You've never heard him say that. He's always the one calming people down. He's always so humble. I watched the interview with Mike Tyson. He was always saying so much things he wants to learn from Mike Tyson. Always acting like he does not know much. He's ignorant about certain things, but he's pulling very major business moves behind the scene. So I think he's one of those guys we should look out for. He might have gotten on the scene late because age-wise, I feel like he started late because of his whole walk across the desert like the Israelites. But he has gotten to his promised land, and at times there's these statements which pastors usually use. Anyway, let me not go into the pastor discussion. They usually tell people like, God's time is not man's time. Or a 100 days for you, something like 100 years for you can be 2 days for God in God's own time, or whatever. So it almost looks like he has spent all this time through this journey in the desert. But the things he might achieve in the next 5 years is something which you who was already in this position 10 years ago, but is not making the most out of it, will still not get there 10 years to come, if that makes sense. So I really see him making major moves, and we should watch out for that guy. When someone is humble, consistent, and has some level of talent, because that weight of a punch is a God-given gift. It's not. Some people will train as much as they want to, but your punch will not get that hit. So the guy is already a force of nature. Even the way you look at pictures of him loading sand trucks, that was not training. That was not any competition. Nobody was paying him to be that strong. But it was a scary sight. I mean, I'm sure even like nobody would dare to owe his money. As soon as he loads that truck, they'll pay him and give him tips because like this guy can pull this truck if he decides to. So those are some of those lessons which we should look at it. Some of us, as soon as you get a little bit of fame, you're on YouTube, now you have 100 subscriptions, you start talking in your comment section anyhow. You start insulting people, you start telling people like you are the it, you have made it in life. You have a long way to go. Most of the people do that just believe like they don't know how much possibility is still there, and how much they still have to go.
Yeah.
They never even knew they would get here. So they are so surprised that they got here. That's why they're acting like that. But somebody who has big dreams and know you have a long way to go, there's no time to waste energy. Just tells you guys, keep faith. Focus on the real deal, which is signing the deal and making the money and putting in place those strategic moves. So I think we have a lot to learn from this guy. But even more, I just tell people watch out for him. He's going to do big things.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for watching, and congrats again to Francis Ngannou. You have definitely taught us a lot. And as usual, guys, we want to know what you think in the comments below, so let us know. Thumbs up to this video if you enjoy our content. Subscribe to Jacaranda TV and hit the notification button. See you guys next time. Bye, guys.